Good evening, guys. I hope everyone is doing well. This week's reading was focusing on managerial leadership, whether there's a difference within leadership and managerial. Now, the initial question is asking us if there is a huge difference between managers and leaders. To that, I would say yes, there is. Now, to back up my claim, I'd like to bring up the TED Talk that we watched about 2 weeks ago when they mentioned how the young man who used to work on the submarine or something like that, something in that along that line. I don't remember as clearly, but he did mention that his captain wanted the ship to be launched within a week or so, and that the captain had no idea or anything about um, how it functions or what step would need to be taken to do that. But he entrusted his crew, and within a week or so, his team managed to, get everything growing the way it's supposed to do because he listened and he trusted in his team, and he made sure that his team excel in the areas that they know what they did. So even though he did mention at the one point that even though he had a captain who was really incompetent and he did not know anything about what was going on within certain aspects of launching a submarine, he was still a great leader because he trusted his team and he realized that he cannot control every aspect of it. Yes, that is a difference between managers and leaders, because I do believe that managers have to be able to actually be more I would say constructive in the term of setting the goals, implementing strategies, basically being more clear in objectives, tasks, resources, and managing all these things. Because while the leader could say, hey, we can do this, we're gonna, and they could also gather up people together, because the main goal of the leader is the ability to bring others together. But that leader is not going to know each aspect of every property. But I do believe that managers need to have at least an understand or some form of comprehension of each aspects of their organization, because ideally speaking, whether or not that individual is excel at that specific field or not, they need to understand it in order to manage it and to understand how they could put that together in order to reach their goal. Because one thing about managing, and it is within the word itself, managing, you have to manage. But leadership, you don't necessarily have to be within that organization or implementing everything directly within your ideas. Let's say, for example, okay, one example I would use would be Steve Jobs. He was a great leader, but Steve Jobs, I don't think he knew anything about music or launching Apple to that brand. So as a leader, yes, he was the face of Apple. He was the leader of Apple. He brought the innovation, and he basically was the face of Apple. But as far as music streaming, I don't think Steve Jobs knew anything about streaming music and how excel into that platform, because the man made computers. And so a manager though of that specific stream services or just that department would need to know it. And would that make them a leader? Yes, managers do need to have a form of leadership within them, but leadership does not need to necessarily manage everything to a certain extent. I know it's a little bit contradicting, but if you look into it a little bit more, you understand that certain aspects of leadership goes beyond just management. So, furthermore, I did use the task building, in order for me to build task. I did, for my department, I overlooked the pre-sales department. So we need to have a certain amount to reach a certain amount of money. Our goal within the facility side is to reach 1 million every month. So to do that, we need to have a certain amount of claims that's approved, and certain amount of claim that we bring into arbitration, certain amount of claim that get denied, and so and so. So my strategy is, well, being that the payment for auto injury claims is based on accumulations, we stack up as much as we can. We've reached out to the what's that, marketing team, and we trying to get more of certain claims in certain we'll go for New York claims, which sometimes they reimburse at a higher fee schedule depending on the procedure. Certain surgeries could only be done in New York, so we approach that. We'll implement the claims and based on the states, and we'll target certain states in order to bring those patients in and their claim, so we could get certain procedures which sells a lot more, which reimburses a lot more, in order to get more money coming out of it. Yes, we do care about the patients also. Yes, because we want more of a serious thing, because doctors want to be able to perform more surgeries. And for New Jersey claims, which is usually 15K policies, surgery would not be done, or they cannot afford that surgery because of the simple fact that, you know, um, it's a 15K policy, reimbursement would not be given, and they would not approve of a surgery. So we're trying to approach a certain demographic, and in order to get those patients to come in and get that surgery, because doctors need to do their surgeries in order to stay in their toes, and also you know there is the fact that we're out of network facilities and we have to pay for all our own stuff. So we target based on quantity of claims, and also the injury type and how severe it is. So, we usually go to pre-service department, and during the pre-service department, we'll say, okay, New York claims follow up with the patient. They don't require pre-certification. We could get a lot more that way. We target them. And in New Jersey claims, we determine a certain amount of approvals, which would guarantee a certain amount of money. So let's say we have about 50 approvals for injections. We want those to be at least 50, so we can get reimbursed for those, and it will accumulate to approximately about 60,000 or so. And then the rest of the claims could be either or, which we could fight, send to arbitration with the lawyers. They want to fight for the cases, or we could overturn with appeals, depending on the claim. But 50, I think, is a little bit less than what we should do. Usually we go for about 100 injections, 100 to 200 injections. It accumulates. But either ways, that's for New Jersey though. New York claims are completely different. They're very complicated, but we approach it in that kind of manner in order to obtain and reach that goal of making at least $1 million for the facilities. Not just my side also, because there's also the major medical side of the facility. But as far as the PIP go, we want to reach a certain amount of collections and percentage of reimbursements.